What's going on, everybody? It's SVT Vasquez. Welcome to another video. If you haven't watched my prior videos, make sure you take a look at my prior HESI videos. I made a video discussing how to properly prepare yourself for the proctored exam. A lot of people have difficulties with that. If you've never taken the proctored exam before, it could spiral into a nightmare. I didn't get to start my exam until an hour later because I was just not prepared for the requirements that they were asked of you. So make sure that you watch that video if you guys are taking a proctored exam. For you guys that are taking an in-person exam, I personally didn't have that experience, so you guys could go ahead and skip that video. So NurseHub is actually the best tool, in my opinion, to study for your TEAS or your HESI exam. As you can see here, it has free resources, and people always ask, is it better to buy the premium or the free one? Well, it all depends on how much time you have. I would say, me myself, I had a full month to study and use the premium version and use it to its entirety, to where I felt comfortable going through each section thoroughly. Now, if you have, let's say, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I wouldn't recommend getting the premium version because you're just not gonna have enough time to go through the resource on its entirety unless you're taking 12-hour days, but at that time you can't really retain that much information. So I wouldn't recommend using the premium version if you don't have the time. But let's say you have 2 to 3 weeks to study for the HESI exam. Well, I would say that's enough time to go through all the content that the HESI provides, because they do have lectures. You could see here they have full-length practice tests, a total of 540 questions, step-by-step answer explanations, detailed scoring reports, all of that good stuff that you guys see here. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna show you guys today how to properly use NurseHub to study for your exam. So let's go ahead and jump into the HESI exam. We're gonna go into anatomy and physiology, and as you could see here, they actually keep track of your quizzes. They keep track on which quizzes you've completed, how far you are into a quiz, your progress, all that good stuff. So it's a good idea to sign up and log in so that you could keep track of your quiz. Maybe if you don't complete a quiz in time and you have to leave in the middle of it, you could save your progress, come back in and complete it at some other time. The important part of this is you don't want to look up the answers to these questions, because you're gonna find out whether you need more help on, for example, let's say you answered everything about circulatory system correctly, but you didn't answer skeletal system correctly. That's gonna kind of gauge you on what to study on NurseHub. So you don't want to cheat the system, and you want to answer truthfully each question, because this is your practice, guys. This isn't gonna give you an actual score for test day. This is gonna show you what you need help on, and if you pay attention to what you need help on, you could further focus on the subjects that you need help on. So for example, if you answered circulatory system all correct, you might just want to focus on what you had incorrect, whether it was nervous system or skeletal system, whatever it may be. You want to be true when answering the questions to your knowledge, and that goes for any subject on NurseHub. If it's math, for example, if you're good at dividing or multiplying fractions, then you don't really want to spend too much time on that, and maybe you want to spend more time on conversions, which, by the way, I did make a video on conversions. If you guys are having difficulty on conversions, this is why I think NurseHub is a great resource for those of you that are studying for the TEAS or HESI exam, because it does break down things into sections to tackle your guys' weak points and highlight those strong points, so that you could focus your studies more on what you're having trouble with and less on what you already know. So for each subject like A&P, it breaks down other quizzes into category. So you'll have a quiz only for skeletal system, you'll have a quiz for respiratory system, all those other systems. It'll have quizzes if you just need to focus on a particular system and not A&P in its entirety. You could just focus on those. And then in those quizzes, there's lectures, video lectures, that if you need further explanation on that system, it'll have a lecture for you. Same thing on the math section. If you just need to study conversions, it'll have videos on that and quizzes on that. So you could focus on A&P on its entirety, or you could focus specifically on the subject that you're having trouble with inside A&P, and taking the diagnostics test truthfully without looking up answers is gonna help you key in on what you need help with. In a book, after you answer a question, it's not gonna do what NurseHub does. As you could see, NurseHub not only tells you the correct answer and why is correct, it explains here why your answer is correct, but it also explains to you why those other answers aren't correct. As you could see right here, transverse, it gives you a breakdown. Transverse is a plane, horizontal plane that divides the body into upper and lower parts. And it tells you right here a further breakdown, and it also has the images of all the answers and why each answer is either right or incorrect. And that's the best thing I love about NurseHub, is that not only do I learn what a sagittal plane is, but I learn what all these other answers are, and it just gives you that much more information to learn from NurseHub. Now, the same thing is going to apply for math. In math, it's going to break down the problem step by step on how to get the answer. It's going to give you the formula. And the thing about math is that repetition is key. I took the formula and I looked up questions not only on NurseHub but my own questions, and I grabbed the scratch piece of paper and I just tackled that same subject. How to convert fractions to decimals, how to get ratios, how to get conversions. I just took blank pieces of paper, and repetition is key. You just have to keep tackling math. Repetition, not learning the problem individually, but learning the formula so you could answer every problem that comes at you, not just that certain problem. Same thing with every other subject like A&P. You don't just want to know what is the answer to the specific question. You want to know the rest of the answers, because the answer might not be specifically what is a sagittal plane. Let's say, for example, the correct answer on the HESI is a transverse, but if you never took the time to learn what a transverse and you stuck to simply the answer for this question, then you're gonna get that question on the HESI wrong. So NurseHub is exactly a tool. If you put in the time and effort, it's gonna guarantee that you pass your TEAS or your HESI exam. If you don't put the time and effort, then it's not gonna guarantee you a passing grade. Now, I know there are videos out there, people suggesting Quizlet or books to study for the HESI or TEAS exam. Well, I'm here to tell you that we're not equally as smart as everybody else. Those people might have not needed the help because maybe those people are fresh out of high school. Maybe that information is fresh in their minds. Me, myself, I'm a decade separated from high school when I went to college, so that information isn't fresh in my mind. I needed NurseHub to break things down for me step by step. I needed to relearn all of this content. So NurseHub was a great tool for me because I didn't have that information readily available to me like some other people might have. Some people might only take a day to study because that information is so fresh in their mind. But if you're one of those people that need that extra content, NurseHub is the greatest tool I would recommend for you to study to take the TEAS or the HESI exam. As you can see here, the tibia is blank to the femur. So the femur is above the tibia. The tibia is going to be your lower extremity. So distal is further away. So the tibia is going to be distal from your femur. So distal is your answer. But make sure you read the rest of your answers as well. Don't just go to the first thing you think is correct. Let's rule out everything before we submit our answer. Medial would be the middle line of your body. So it's not middle. It's not in the middle of your femur, so that's not right. Lateral is left or right. It's not, your tibia is not to the left or right of your femur, so distal would be your correct answer. So let's make sure that is correct, and yes, that is correct. And here it breaks down everything I just said to you guys. It's going to go over what lateral, proximal. It's going to go over everything that's in this question. So make sure that you don't key in on the answer. And this goes for everything on NurseHub. Don't just key in on the answer because there's other information that you need to learn. You need to learn these too. And that's the proper way to use NurseHub to successfully have a high score on your HESI or TEAS. So I'm not going to go over every single question. I don't want to make this video too long. Another key piece of information I'm going to leave you guys with is a Facebook group. I'm going to leave a link in the description below to a Facebook group where if you guys have any questions, there are a bunch of people out there just like you that have questions, that have answers, and there's a community on Facebook that helps each other answer questions. Make sure you guys join that community and have your questions answered. Make sure you reach out to others and answer the questions that you have knowledge to as well. If you guys have questions for me about the exam, make sure you drop them in the comments below. I do have an affiliate link to NurseHub. If you guys want to do me the favor and use that link to purchase a premium, it would be greatly appreciated. That's going to do it for me in this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.